Sam Nujoma, the former president of Namibia, passed away on the 8th of February 2025. He passed away at the age of 95. He is regarded as a founding father of Namibia. However, the response by fellow African leaders, especially the sitting presidents, was quite disappointing to say the least. Some have actually said it was a pathetic response. Why would one say that? Because no one plans for a funeral. However, after he passed on the 8th of February, there was a long mourning period, and the official funeral was only on the 1st of March 2025. So African leaders have had sufficient time to plan for this funeral and to attend. But only a measly 3 African presidents attended. Yes, some former leaders attended. But one says, look, why would one need to attend? What if people were busy? Are we forgetting being African? If a president or a former president of a neighbor passes on, it's as good as your neighbor that you live next door to passing on. So you expect the father, or at least the parent, whoever is leading that household, to attend the funeral for the next door neighbor who has passed on. However, most of the African presidents chose to send some dignitary. Some chose to even send some junior members of their government or parties to go and attend the funeral, which is the same as a father sending their child to attend the funeral next door because they are too busy. Sam Nujoma is regarded as the founding father of Namibia because he's a co-founder of SWAPO, the party that led the liberation of Namibia from apartheid South Africa. We're not saying Sam was a saint. Yes, there are controversies around him, but the work that he has done as part of liberating Namibia, number one, just being a leader, regardless of the fact that you like him or not. You don't need to like your next door neighbor. You don't necessarily need to like how he leads his family to attend their funeral. And the funny thing is, recently, when the Queen of England passed away, we saw African leaders flocking to the UK. And images made rounds where they were pegged into buses, treated in a way that was questionable, whilst other presidents like Joe Biden were getting their own motorcades. African leaders were pegged in a bus. Some were even standing in the bus. But everyone flocked to the UK to go and attend that funeral. Now, almost every country broadcasted that funeral of the Queen. A lot of Africans actually do not know about the passing on of Sam Nujoma. This is a guy who was a president for Namibia for 15 years. Of course, there was controversy around how he extended his terms of office from 2 terms and had to run for a 3rd term. But he was a president of a fellow nation. He was an older statesman. So this questionable character of our African leaders is what has caused even the juniors in Africa to act in a way that they don't even regard each other wherever they meet. Where are they learning it from? They learn it from the leaders. The history of Africa involves those that led the leadership, those that were presidents, those that have contributed towards the continent to be what it is today. We still learn about Hitler, even though we are not Germans. We still learn about all this world history. Why? Because history is important regardless of which side of history those people were. So it was really quite disappointing to have so few African leaders going there. And one then begins to ask the question, this question of African Renaissance, this question of Ubuntu, and this question of Africans being united towards a common goal, is it ever going to be achieved at some point? One could say, look, we've done away with those old things because that was for the liberation movements. But have you seen what happened with Ukraine? With Zelensky after the treatment he got in the United States? European leaders overnight had to gather in the UK and they had to send messages of support. This was an emergency. Everyone came together overnight to say, we support Ukraine. So you support your neighbors, not necessarily because you philosophically agree with them, but it is the right thing to do. Even if you have got disagreements, even if you don't like the leader that is there. So we see other parts of the world coming together for a cause overnight. But just for our presidents to just come together for a single day to bid farewell to a fellow statesman, they are not concerned to do that. It really leaves one with the question of saying, where are we going as a continent? Do we still have any common vision? And then you have the African Union. 54, 55 states in the continent. Only 3 sitting presidents attended. It was quite disappointing.